All right, let's try this again. We're checking the connection. I apologize. I had to bounce out of there. Internet is rough right now in New York City, I'll tell you. Especially uptown in this situation is crazy. I've had trouble with it for the last weeks and weeks, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do. See if we can make this better.
Oh, wow. My forehead is so large. I'm so sorry. Wow. Nobody wanted that. That's intense.
Hi. All right,
Hello.
let's try it for part two. I posted the other one on IGTV really quickly as part one.
Okay. Okay.
Part two.
All right.
Happens every time. It's such a pain in the ass. I'm so sorry.
It
But
is. It's fine. Don't worry.
the internet in New York City is berserk. I feel like it's just there's too many people using it that it's completely over the top, you know?
But I'm just like, listen, you guys, figure it out. You can't tell us all to like be over here and then you can't figure it out. You have to figure it out, y'all.
I know. Well, and they have all the money. Like, you're telling me Verizon can't solve this? Come on.
I'm
Come on.
saying, bro.
They have all the money.
All of it. They have it all. They have all of it.
Yeah. They can figure it out.
They have it.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you another question then. Let's talk about, I want to ask you, what's something that you've noticed in the last couple weeks that has been impactful in a positive way? If you have noticed anything that really...
That's not funny. I'm sorry. That's not a funny question. It was a response. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure.
I like an honest response. I'm down.
I don't have a general. I don't feel better. It is heartbreaking that we continue to be here. It is infuriating. I don't know why it takes tragedy and bloodshed for people to lend their humanity and compassion to an issue that they state isn't happening. I continue to hear, I don't see color. My response is, if you don't, just for the sake of color blindness, if in fact you don't see color and you still aren't speaking up about what it is that you are seeing, you have a fundamental human issue. Like something is wrong with you as a person. Since no one has pigment and that is a non-factor, which is a complete myth and horseshit and a cop-out. If in fact you are watching people have their lives taken, be beaten to death, like, and you don't have anything to say about that, like, we really have no business kicking it. We have no business talking. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you cannot get on the side that there is a systemic, long-standing problem based on the appearance of a person, if you cannot come to grips with that, I have no bandwidth, time, or desire to talk to you any further. But I will say that's like sociopathic. That's like in a textbook somewhere for someone, that's a disorder. So, and it's far more cumbersome than your lack of iris, retina, cornea, whatever astigmatism you may think that you have that has eliminated the ability for you to see what's happening in front of you. Then something inside of your mind and your body and your soul is corrupt. So that has just, I have not found myself joyous at any point because I don't trust it. I don't believe you, not you specifically. I love you, Liz. I think you're great. I was in your house. I do. I love you. I honestly, I do. So, but I don't, this continues to happen over and over and over again. And we witness it in the Black community. You witness it in the gay community. You witness all these interior silos. You witness it as it pertains to Indigenous Americans. as it pertains to people from the Middle East, as it pertains to any country that isn't here. There are all of these things that are right in front of you, and people consistently find us a way to be like, I don't have time for this. Well, that's a luxury. That is the actual clinical definition of privilege, because you cannot take that off. I have the right to be femme presenting, and you would never know that I was a lesbian. What I cannot do is take off the color of my skin. I cannot do that. So I am so sorry that your feed might be heavy and you feel the need to post a recipe for a 7-layer dip because it's just too political. That's bullshit. People are being harmed. I don't care about your sourdough bread influencing. That has nothing to do with me or anyone else. So it's hard for me to feel like there is a shift, like there is a tide turning. We've seen all these same steps, Liz. We continue to see all of this happen. And then I can't remember. I used to talk about this all the time when I was teaching in high school, but the thing that knocked Coney, I believe, out of everyone's viewpoint on socials when Facebook was still really king and all of that was something to do with the Kardashians or something around like the complete opposite of child soldiers being mobilized and used and targeted. And then the thing that took that out of everyone's trending was like lip gloss or something terrible. Like, so I don't trust it. As a Black American, I'm just like, and I'm having a hard time. I want to feel better. I want to know that the marching and the mobilizing and the things will lead to deconstructing an entire system that is working exactly as it was designed. I hear people talking about corruption a lot. It was made this way. This country was taken from indigenous Americans, and then people were bought on slave ships to be here with alienable rights. And I am desperately, along with, I'm sure, so many other Black Americans, looking for the 2/5 that would then give me the equality to be able to have the privilege to say, I don't see color and I don't have time to talk about this right now. And so I find myself vacillating between super irritated and frustrated, and the other side just being like, focus Azure, do your job, continue doing what you have been doing. And when I started talking about this publicly on my platform was at the death of Trayvon Martin. We're not wearing hoodies anymore. We're not talking about that anymore because some other things have happened. And in the middle of that, a host, hundreds, if not thousands of names have never made a list or a hashtag. So this is always a problem. This continues to be an issue, and it is frustrating to no end to see that it just ramps up. And it's been hard. It's been hard. My saving grace is that I have always filled my life with people who look nothing like me. And they are friends that I trust and friends that I believe. Friends like yourself that I have shared a time with, and wine and hanging out and laughing. And those are the things that I know to be true. We need much, much more of that. We need people to evaluate what their friend circle looks like. Look at where they spend their dollars. And before you go to comment back about all the things you're doing and the 2 Black people that you know as to why that is your rebuttal for you not being racist, which is another thing entirely. It's so much larger. It's so much bigger. Yeah. So to answer your question in short and long, I think that's why I laughed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I have been I've been somewhat pleasantly surprised by the number of white people that I know, mostly people that I've worked with in the past,
Yeah.
that I've sort of stayed loose friends with, or at least in contact via social media,
Yep.
etc.
Yep.
That um, are have always been really really quiet about this, and then started DMing me and asking me like, "Hey, I want to do stuff. I want to give money. I want to do whatever. Where do I aim this? I don't know where to aim this."
Yeah.
And then to see them start actively posting stuff where they literally have never weighed in on
Right.
one thing ever before,
Yes.
I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. I mean, I'm pretty loud in general, and I
Yes.
and they're like, well, you're so outspoken and whatever, and this, and I'm like, yeah, you want to know how to change it? Don't have any space for that shit,
Right.
and make it very well known that you don't have space for that shit. And
Right.
when you come in contact with somebody, don't back down. If you're at a
Yeah.
family or you're visiting, whatever, like bring it up,
Yeah.
learn your information, learn your facts, and call people on their shit and
Yeah.
talk to them about it really openly and be real direct.
Yeah.
No, like and I'm not saying to be like aggressive or to be an asshole about it. I think people can have a conversation and let the other person go off and be an asshole, and
Sure.
you do your shit together and
Right.
just calmly stating facts and be like,
Right.
yeah, it's not true. This is what's true.
Yeah. And you know, like, to your point too, like, I don't there's nothing wrong with being aggressive from your space. There's nothing wrong with that, because it is problematic when people remove themselves from this conversation and they're like, Azure, I would never, I love you. I'm like, well, you also don't say anything. So you understand, like, I've been pulled out of my car. I didn't have a phone to video because I have to make a conscious decision about whether or not I feel like getting shot that day. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You don't have to be. What you do have to stop doing is being so quiet.
Yep.
Those are the things that we need. That is what is required. And I agree with you. Like, I think I have seen far more in the wake of this, in the wake of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, than I have seen in the past. I find myself concerned because we are a country that had the honor and the pleasure of having Martin Luther King Jr. walk the street with Malcolm X and Rosa Parks. And this is where we are in 2020.
I know.
We are still having a conversation. We're
Fucking
still having a fucking conversation about Target.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just not going to fucking talk to you about, I love Target. I fucking love Target. I love it. I love going in there for paper towels and coming out with a can opener and a TV. I don't need either one of those fucking things. I love Target. But this is not the point. That's not what the fuck we're talking about here. And people are like, I own a small business. I own 4. Now what? You know, you shouldn't, you are looking at a response. It is not a riot. It is a revolution. It is something that needs to happen. You were either on that fence or the other one. And if you were in the camp that is calling this a riot, we don't have anything to discuss. I don't need February prompts from you. I don't need you to wish me a happy Black History Month. I don't want to see a quote on your Facebook page from Dr. Martin Luther King. Give me context. Have you read the Birmingham papers? Have you read more about what he thought, or you all just want to keep tagging me in the same horse shit that you always do? I don't want to talk about Harriet Tubman. I really don't. I don't want to talk about her. She must be exhausted. I'm tired just thinking about her. So it's crazy. This shit is crazy, y'all. Like, and it's larger. Hi, Brad. I love you. And hi, Amy. And the conversation has to be aggressive, Liz, because people aren't listening otherwise. And you should be able to just affirm and lift one another in the space that says, like, I see that you're struggling. I accept that. And I want to help you, and these are the ways in which I can help. Lacking that. We just are. We're really, really lacking it. What, are you okay? Are you still with us? You see play out, people. You see how she didn't? You see?
I
Look at what's
sure
happening.
I sure fucking hope it is. I mean, I'm, I am, I, there's so many things in that I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago, and I'm
Whoa,
telling you,
congrats. That's dope. You look freaking awesome.
thank you. And there's a lot of things people ask me, oh, what's the biggest thing that's changed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it's a lot of shit I never saw. I never thought I would see go down in my lifetime. I never thought I'd see gay marriage legalized. There's a lot of stuff I never thought that I would see. I didn't think I would see a black president, honestly. Like, I know what this country is built on. I
I
have
miss him
no
so much.
what
I
the deal
miss
is.
him.
Right? Every day. Every day.
I do.
You know, but there's so many things now that it shows you how fragile it all is,
Yeah.
because it's what was took so long to build is swept away so quickly, and it really reminds me that all of this is orchestrated, right? Like every
Yeah.
single thing going into place has been orchestrated. It's decades and decades in the making. We are going to see the exact same um, like after the pandemic equalizes a little bit. I think there's going to be plenty of waves of it, but when people start putting money back into advertising, I think it's going to be the same whitewashing fucking shit that happened after World War II. I think they're going to be like, this is what will make you feel normal again. This is what will put you back on the right track. And there's going to be billions poured into this shit. And it's all going to be to try to erase people from keeping this momentum. It's going to try to take away the momentum of people recognizing how fucking upset they should be and how they keep powering forward all the time. They are going to try to deflate this energy. Like, that is the number one goal that they're going to fucking have.
And I want to say too, because I can go 0 to 60 about this so fast. I mean, you already know how unhinged I am. I try to keep that together and off camera because I don't want people to know I'm absolutely out of my mind. But I have gotten more messages from so many people, so many amazing people about how they are wanting to embody what allyship is. And I continue to talk about, you are not just an ally once, you are an ally for the rest of your life. And that is a lifestyle. That's not you a one and done. And my book has sold out 4 times on Amazon, and it is a very surreal success because I don't want it at the behest of this. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see 100,000 people watch this open letter I wrote to my black godson about, I hope he doesn't get shot. I would rather not be writing those things. But if this is where we are, and if people are purposing to get to know themselves and see what is happening in front of them, I can be grateful that this pandemic has held a captive global audience that all watched this play out. Whoa, did you see how I just did that play out? Oh, shit. That was super organic. That's right.
Nice little moment.
That's a shout out. That's for you. Yeah, you can have that. You can keep it. You got that, E. Yeah, it's yours. Just put it here in your heart. But it has been encouraging to see a lot of the people that have followed me for years take a stand. And I can't imagine how frightening it must be, because I have seen a lot of things that have been like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Yeah, there's not a book for this because this shouldn't be happening. But I can see that I am safe with you. I can see that you can understand that this is an injustice. And I expect that across the board. And if something goes wrong with you, your loved one, your child, you should be able to count on me too. You should be able to also know that I am held accountable for those actions as well. You cannot preach inclusivity and compassion and turn a blind eye to other things. So there are, as you said, so many decades and layers and generation like conditioning around the response to all of this. to all of it, and we can pick it apart. We can pick this whole thing apart. Or do you rise? Get up and do the thing. Do the thing. And there are some people who don't really understand social media and aren't really of that space, but have always supported Black business, have always had Black friends, and been in integrated spaces. There are people, when we were allowed to marry, that have been straight as an arrow all their life and are like, congratulations, I'm really happy for you. I can feel that. I can see that. You can understand and witness someone's humanity. So I will say that I have seen far more of that than I have at all. Than I have at all. I have seen a lot less all lives. And I have so many responses for that. I'm waiting for somebody to say it because I can't wait. I would love it. And I'm going to screen record it, and I'm going to just take them out. Just take them out. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. So, but no one said it. And so I feel a little bit sad about that because I was really ready. I was ready. I put it together. I put a nice speech, a nice one together.
Yeah. I mean, I want you to be able to use that, but I also don't. I hope you
No,
don't
it's
have
probably fine. It's probably
I've-
better.
I've had that a few times recently directly, and I lost my shit completely. And yeah, I wasn't very proud of how I behaved the first time. I probably could have handled it better, but I just my draw. So I just was like, wow. And I was kind of triggered because it took me back to I would say I had a lot of horrible shit go down when I was a kid, and I had someone that I would confide in on occasion, very rarely, because I trusted no one. But that person, if I swore, it wouldn't matter how intense what I said, what the sentence was that I said, they'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe you used that language," and the focus would become about this fucking word that I said, instead of the fact that that I told them this huge horrible thing that happened to me.
Right.
That's like, take me to therapy. I'm fucking begging you.
Right.
And, like, it doesn't matter because you said a bad word. You said the
Yeah,
S
yeah,
word.
yeah.
Like, it's the same shit. It's like you are 100% missing the goddamn point. Like,
Right. 100. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Like,
And what's funny as we're talking about it, what took the place of all lives matter was the people being like, what about my store?
Yeah. It's like, what about my livelihood? Fuck your livelihood. You don't think it's fucking better to do the right thing, even if it fucking costs you, because that's being a fucking human being and being a good person on this earth?
Yeah.
You need some outside source to tell you how to be a goddamn person? No.
And it's really simple. The way I dial it down for folks, they're just like, oh, I'm scared to go outside. And I'm like, yeah, that's Black.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry it's inconvenient for you right now. Like, are you fucking with me now?
It's the same, y'all. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you are nervous. I feel the same way. Yeah, I mean, I usually feel fairly at peace in Target. But, that's just because I really like having stuff I don't need.
Oh,
but other than that, I mean, I saw all that shit going around on Facebook, but can you run? Can you jog? Like, I can get behind these campaigns. What I need is it to stop. What I need is exactly what you said in your home. When your racist uncle says a thing, cut that out. Like, when you hear that happen in your locker room, when it happens in your boardroom, in the break room, stop it. Stop doing that. People are like, what can I do? Don't be a racist. Don't do that. It is as simple as that is short. That's it. That's what I need from you. I should not have to brand myself Black owned and a Black business so that you buy the book that you're then like, this book was really good. I'm a great writer. That's why it's good. You bought it because you feel shitty about the fact that you don't normally talk about what you see because you can't see color. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the color makes you nervous. Guess who else it makes nervous? Us.
Yeah.
That's difficult, y'all. Like, that shit is really, really heavy. And I get it. And people are like, it just feels like it's just overwhelming. And the sadness, like I spent a full day in tears last week, a full day blown. I unfollowed uh 15 different authors
Mm,
that said nothing.
yeah.
People I have followed a very, very long time. But you know what I will say? I don't have friends on my Facebook that surprised me because they're not in my feed. Like if we're still connected, if I'm still reading about the stuff and your recipes and your grandfather's birthday party and that your Mima turned 98, like I care. I do. I don't have a Mima, or I don't even know what a Mima is, but I'm happy for all of you. I think that's awesome. So I wasn't surprised about that because I have made sure that the people I am around echo me too.
Yeah.
You have to trust that. And the people that are very frustrated about the protest and the rioting and happen to be women, I want to remind them that that is how you got your ability to vote. That is why you can go to work. That is why
Yeah.
you get to be in that boardroom, because somebody took to the fucking street and said, this isn't going to work out because we have a government that doesn't listen to us. I don't care who you voted for, red or blue or otherwise. This whole structure is not purposed for the betterment of who you are as a United States citizen. Like that is what this is about. But
Yeah.
there are people that said, I won't stand for this. There were men that were involved in that suffrage march to make sure that you have the ability to go and cast your ballot, that you can go to the store, that you can do these things other than just carry on human life. Like you are allowed to do that
Yeah.
because of the revolution, which is not a riot. That is a cry. That is a cry of the unheard. If you want a quote,
Yeah.
like that is a response. You are witnessing it. It's not only being televised, it's being broadcasted and engineered and curated. So go take what is yours. Go get that. And don't come at me about a busted window.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about his windpipe or Tamir Rice or Oscar Grant or Emmett Till or Sandra Bland? Like, I don't, there is not space for us to have a conversation about your possessions. I am scared for my life all the time. And I'm a public speaker with a big following and can do all of the stuff. That doesn't stop me from getting detained at the border. It doesn't stop me from being pulled out of my vehicle and sat on the curb. Like it's bigger than this. It's asking for you.
Can you hear
I
me?
think I
Am I
lost you
back?
again. Yeah, I got you.
Making a
I got you.
making a weird face.
Hey,
Yeah. I can still hear you. So yeah.
no,
But
well,
I mean
yeah. I
it's
just
true,
it's big.
I
Please
think
go.
the other thing too is the personal cost. I've had a lot of very what I think are important but difficult conversations. I mean, I have lots of difficult conversations, but I've had some really important ones recently with friends of mine where um and like I had to tell somebody that I know really well. I said, look, you are fucking a racist. And if you don't stop doing that, we are not friends. Like, because I'm not going to do this once removed thing. Like, now that I know, now that I saw what he put on fucking Facebook, like, cat's out of the bag. You need to give up this piece of shit person, or you are essentially agreeing with them, in my opinion. So that's your choice. Like
Yeah,
I don't care how much it costs you. You need to think bigger than just yourself.
yeah,
You need to decide yourself and what's right in front of you and what you want as an individual. Because fuck that.
yeah,
There's a there's all these other individuals that don't even have the luxury of this shit. Fuck that.
yeah,
Like you have to feel pain. You are going to feel loss. You're going to feel suffering, and you should. You
yeah,
should feel lots of it. Actually,
yeah,
okay, it's worth it. It's worth every single morsel of it.
yeah, yeah. I feel that.
Do the right thing.
And I mean that the discomfort that people are feeling is so temporary. I mean, my God, I wish I could take this
Yeah.
off sometimes. There are days
Yep.
There are days, you know, like that discomfort, it's not gonna last. This, this does. The color
Yeah.
of my skin, that does. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. But I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, it's been a lot about observation, just watching how people in my personal life react, and that tells me everything that I need to know. Everything. It says everything to me. So there, you know, it's just, I don't know. This year seems to be a lot about taking inventory of yourself, of what you value. You know, like I mean, we are at a space where we are losing life at a rapid speed. And there are things that are happening that shouldn't be happening, and shouldn't be permitted. And it is up to us to be the people that we know we can be, to be the human beings that we think we are. Like this is, we're better than this. We are better than this. We
Yeah.
are better than this. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
And to challenge and encourage other people to do so. It can't just stop with yourself. It
Yeah.
can't just be about, especially allyship. It's like, don't talk to me about, yeah, I'm an ally, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm reading the things, and then you go out to lunch with like three other people that are just like
Horrific.
not on the
Yeah.
same. I
And you,
just stop.
and
Like
you
you
know,
have to. It goes further.
and Liz and I, Liz Gilbert and I were talking the other day, and you know, this she was like, there's a few things that you don't get to just name yourself. One of them is a good friend. Uh, Second is humble. I think I said humble, and the third one was an ally. Someone gives you that by the way you live your life. I am surrounded by them. I am surrounded by people who are purposed to know, to help me, to reach out, to jump in, to do those things. Like that I am blessed to have that. But it is truly something that you have to evaluate and be cognizant, and do, you know, with forethought. Like, someone should be able to look at you and say, like, you are that for me. You are an ally. You don't get to just call yourself that because you're like, I'm an ally. You shouldn't even have to say it. It should
Right?
just be the way that you live. And then,
Yeah.
like, they're just like, oh, I mean, it's something as simple as like, oh, I thought you were gay because, like, all your friends, and it's like, well, I love them. They're my friend. I'm not gay, but they're gay, and that's cool. You know, like, it's fine. But I can be around them and be an ally, and live this life and have conversations, and play games, and we can talk about things and music and destinations. With who what your sexual preferences has nothing to do with anybody's conversation. But you do know that if anybody ever spoke down to you or mistreated you, I will stand for you. I will stand in the gap for you. I will do that. And that's allyship. Like, that is a consistent way of being in the world. At least that is my perspective and understanding about what it means to truly support and be there for someone else. No, I can read your lips though. You can't hear me. New York's the worst. I love New York, but it's also really hard. Best is come back. Maybe you're using a dial-up modem. I don't know. I'm not sure. You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah, I don't know what you said, but I think that's awesome. Yeah. So